Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller. It's good to be with you on a Wednesday. Thank you kindly for joining us. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. A lot to cover on the show. COVID is the storyline of the day. Certainly nationwide. Surges across the country. We'll talk about how they're impacting the markets, and we'll reflect on how that could influence Charlottesville and Central Virginia. I think we all realize we're heading into one of these crossroads with this pandemic as we head into the winter months. We've been talking about this for what's been maybe a month. We're starting to see the winter is coming, influencing things. NASDAQ, S&P, the Dow, all down roughly 3%, about halfway through the trading day. I'm looking at the markets now. It's red across the board. That story to start in a matter of moments. Chesterfield County, Virginia, announced yesterday in a very tight vote that its public school system will return to in-person school, in person, in the hallways, on November 9th. That's 64,000 kids, Chesterfield County, Virginia, walking the hallways on November 9th. That story coming up for you on the show. The casino that's being proposed for Danville, Virginia. Remember, 5 to 12 gambling parlors, casinos, whatever you want to call it, will be getting licenses from the governor's office in January. So strategically, locations are trying to position themselves to be one of those 5 to 12 gambling licenses that the governor issues across the Commonwealth. One of them is Danville, Virginia, where a Caesars casino is being planned. This Caesars has tremendous headwinds that it's dealing with right now. Tremendous resistance. I'll give you those details. 5 to 12 right around the corner for Virginia. We'll talk about some phenomenal wings we had the other day here in Charlottesville. We'll let you know where we had those wings. It's at a restaurant in Mill Creek. I'll give you the insight into a startup that I find fascinating from Richmond, Virginia. It's a startup in the vending machine space. But instead of Kit Kats and Snickers and Reese's and junk food and chips and soda, the vending machine startup is going to have lunch and breakfast healthy bowls and wraps and pitas. And they're going to sell them for $5 to $13. So a chef, an established chef, is taking vending machines, and every morning, this established chef is cooking breakfast sandwiches and lunch bowls, rice bowls, wraps, healthy stuff for breakfast and lunch, putting them in strategically positioned vending machines that have cooling, to keep them cold and fresh, and people go push B6, and then down drops a bacon, egg, and cheese. We'll talk about that. Interesting idea. COVID-friendly. Position the vending machine strategically around a location. You do not have to interact with the customer. They can be positioned in highly trafficked, walkable areas. I'll talk about that and maybe how it could appeal to some of our F&B entrepreneurs in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Crystal Napier will join us on the program for a Crystal Napier Spotlight presented by Renee's Boutique. We will feature Pearl Island Foods. Pearl Island, you may have fallen in love with Pearl Island at the farmer's market. Absolutely fantastic taste and flavor from this Caribbean-inspired business. Crystal will spotlight these entrepreneurs in about 17 minutes on the I Love CVille Show. The CAA has released its spring football schedule. This is the football conference of William & Mary, JMU, and the University of Richmond football teams. The schedule is crazy for the spring. It's only going to be 6 games, and because Towson is not playing, it's going to be 2 different divisions, And one of the divisions is going to only have 4 teams, so these 4 teams have to play each other twice in the spring. That division is the William & Mary JMU Richmond division. So we have a nice little bubble forming for the spring, if we can get there from a COVID standpoint. In the CAA, we'll also talk UVA football as they host the Tar Heels, 15 in the nation. North Carolina, a 6.5-point favorite. And Wisconsin just canceled its college football game against Nebraska for this Saturday. The Badgers, number 9 in the country, have a COVID outbreak on their football team and literally canceled a game, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 72 hours away from one of their biggest rivals, Wisconsin and Nebraska. Welcome to the program. If you could give the show a like and a share. Thank you, Bruno Moon, for doing that. Scott Williams, it was great to see you this morning. Thank you for giving the show a like. Stephanie Wells Rhodes, thank you. Andre Xavier, Christelle, hello. Johnny Ornalis, Kelly Lewis, thank you for liking the show. Jamie Schwartz, hello. Give the show a like and a share and tell your friends about the broadcast. Guys, I would not be doing you a service if I did not lead with this storyline. I make this show as much of Charlottesville and Central Virginia as possible, but it's important not to ignore or disregard national storylines that will impact us. Judah, if you can get the storyline from CNBC on screen about cases surging first. 36 states in America, 36 states reported that the average number of people currently hospitalized with COVID-19 rose by at least 5% over the past week. Guys, we are seeing a surge in America. I am a cautious optimist, a positive guy, but you cannot ignore these metrics and these statistics. We are doing well in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. We are doing well in our community, controlling and maintaining and social distancing and being healthy and wearing masks and keeping cases and hospitalizations down, especially with the University of Virginia in our backyard. But 36 other states are not doing nearly as well as our community. And as a result, markets are in turmoil today. Personally, my portfolio 3.5% down. The Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ all red, all in turmoil, okay? And whether we want to admit this or not, and I understand that if you speak to an economist is going to say the stock market is not a reflection or is not an indication of the economy. There's Main Street and there's Wall Street, okay? And Wall Street is not a reflection of Main Street. I understand that mindset, but please, the markets help determine consumer confidence. And when you have numbers that I'm looking like on our big screen here in our studio in the historic Macklin building on Market Street where we're located, and I'm seeing red, you notice, okay? So we are at that crossroads now that we've been talking about for 30 days. Not just this network, but all of us. We've all known that going into we're about into November. Heck, we're 6 days away from the election. The next week, I'm going to say this as a cautious optimist without hyperbole and just being a very realistic person. And please look at me. Please look at me. The next week until this election is beyond us, and we don't even know if the election's going to be over by November 3rd with the mail-in ballots and the absentee ballots. We just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But until the election, until November 3rd, until this stuff is finalized, we're going to have volatility. We're going to have market volatility. We know we're going to have COVID volatility. And we need to buckle up and prepare ourselves both spiritually, mentally, and physically. Body, mind, and spirit. Body, mind, and spirit. Because it is going to be a bumpy ride. You see what's happening in Europe. You see what's happening in Europe. You see what's happening in 36 states in America. Okay? See what's happened on all the indices. It's going to be, we just got to mentally get in the right space, All right, and before we get to the roads headline, I want to throw the Chesterfield County Schools headline into the mix because it's interesting timing. Obviously, Chesterfield County Schools is not making its decision based on what's happening on a macro standpoint, but last night, Chesterfield County, Virginia, its leadership said 64,000 kids, its entire student population, can be in the hallways of its schools learning in person on November 9th. You heard me correctly. And folks, it's a keeping up with the Joneses world. It's a keeping up with the Joneses world, with the car you drive, the house you live in, the clothes you wear, the food you eat, the activities you do, the politics you choose to embody, the schools you attend, how you learn. That is America. We're a competitive population, and in a lot of ways, it drives us to be successful because we're competitive, and we're always trying to strive to beat the other from whatever we're competing in. And with that mindset, with Chesterfield County, Virginia, 64,000 roughly children learning in schools, walking the hallways, sitting in desks, getting dropped off in person, that's going to have an influence with other school systems in the Commonwealth. Now, it was a tight split. I wouldn't want to be in that room. It was a tight split. But watch what happens. Watch what happens. There's a lot of people on both sides of the fence from a virtual and in-person learning. Now, this came up on... Where did this come up, Judah? How did this come up? This came up, it'll come to me. We got talking about the most dangerous roads in Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm going to include this as a topic line for the entire show. Put it in the comment section. I'll go to all the Facebook pages this show airs on throughout the program. I want you to share your perspective. What are the most dangerous roads in and around Charlottesville, Virginia? Route 53 has got to be on that list. 5th Street, when it goes from the city of Charlottesville to Albemarle County, and you can start going 60 miles an hour over that hill by Old Lynchburg Road and Sunset Avenue, when there's no traffic lights with the cars coming off Sunset to 5th Street or Old Lynchburg to 5th Street, there's no traffic lights there. And cars are going 60 miles an hour down 5th Street. And then you have cars trying to get onto 5th Street from Sunset and Old Lynchburg. That's where 1 or 2 times a year you get a major T-bone accident on 5th Street Extended. Most dangerous roads in and around Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia, what are they? Put them in the feed. I'm curious of your opinion. There's a lot of sticky situations out there from a road standpoint. You know when you're at around Roy Wheeler Realty Company on Ivy Road, you're at the Boar's Head on Ivy Road, kind of in that area, the Boar's Head, and you're taking a left coming out of Roy Wheeler or the Boar's Head or Ednam. You're taking a left, and you're taking a left like you're going to Duners, or you're driving to Crozet. And you hit it at the right time, right as the sun is setting. You cannot see coming down Ivy Road to Crozet when the sun is setting on that road. I'm talking about blindness as the sun is setting. If you've been in that position, give the show a like and a share. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Most dangerous roads in and around Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm curious of your take and your opinions on this program here. Kevin Higgins, welcome to the broadcast. Vanessa Parkhill, we love when you watch this program. Vanessa Parkhill, thank you kindly for joining us. Ted Norris, hello, and welcome to the broadcast. Whitney Briggs, hello, welcome to the broadcast. Valerie Angela, hello, and welcome to the show. Thank you kindly for joining us. New topic. Judah, my friend. The casinos proposed for Danville, Virginia. It's a Caesars casino that would have a tremendous economic impact. If you can get that on screen for me, my friend Judah Wickhauer. Thank you, my friend. Shawn Napier, hello, my friend. This casino is supposed to create 1,300 jobs in Danville. If you know Danville and Southwest Virginia, you know it's starving for economic activity. It's starving for economic activity, Southwest Virginia, Danville. So this is the story. Virginia, money is short. The reason money is short in Virginia is because tax collections are down. People aren't going out to eat. People aren't doing tourism. People aren't doing retail. Because we're not spending as much as we normally did, the Commonwealth of Virginia has a budget deficit. Because the Commonwealth of Virginia has a budget deficit, it is influencing the governor to think creatively and do different things. This is a COVID-19 impact. COVID-19 is making taxes come in at a slower rate than they previously did. Because the money's coming in slower for Virginia, the governor's having to do different and new things. One of those different and new things is casinos. And he's saying 5 to 12 of them will happen, licenses issued, early next year. So municipalities across the Commonwealth are trying to strategically position themselves. They're wheeling and dealing. They're greasing the wheels. They're politicking and campaigning, and they're getting the word out about the positives of the casino. And in Danville, Caesars from Las Vegas is trying to build a behemoth, a $400 million project that would create 1,300 new jobs for the region and drive $38 million in incremental tax revenue for Danville and the Commonwealth. So, on paper, great idea. On paper, great idea. Naysayers are out and about, and those naysayers are using billboards, door-to-door knocking, a phone call campaign, and those naysayers are now saying that if a casino comes to Danville, it would be a monument to racial injustice and inequality. Put the story back on screen from the Danville Register-MB. The national director of the Washington-based group Stop Predatory Gambling told attendees in Danville at an anti-casino rally on Sunday, quote, "Big corporate gambling companies like casinos, along with state and local governments, effectively have had their knee in the throat of the financial well-being of African American citizens for the last 40 years. End quote. Caesars Entertainment did not respond to that to give a comment. So they're facing some headwinds. Norfolk is facing headwinds. One plan scuttlebutted for Richmond. Headwinds. Time's going to tell, but casinos are going to be coming. Just like the dispensaries, whether we want to admit it or not, the casinos and the dispensaries are coming next year. And why they're coming next year is a direct influence of COVID. We don't have enough money to run our governments. And if we don't think outside the box, we as citizens will feel more of the tax burden. And that's going to come from an F&B tax at restaurants, lodging, tourism, real estate, retail, you name it. Follow the storylines because they impact your pocket and they impact you at home big time. Most dangerous roads in Charlottesville, let me know. I'm getting comments left and right here on the most dangerous roads in Charlottesville. We will get to your comments here. Route 53, a lot of people are saying Route 53. We have some of the Roy Wheeler agents agreeing with me about going down Ivy Road to Crozet when the sun is setting as it being pretty darn dangerous. I've been in that position. It is a scary, scary, scary proposition. Another tough spot is 250 in Keswick. When you're going down and the road X's, and you can go to Keswick Vineyards, X is right at the gas station, you go to Keswick Vineyards or Glenmore, that little X on 250 is a scary little proposition when you're in a vehicle, especially around rush hour as people are heading home, racing to get to dinner. Crystal Napier is going to join us in 3 minutes on this program where we're going to spotlight Pearl Island foods and their Caribbean cuisine, which is delicious. Before we get to Crystal, this is an intriguing startup that I wanted to relay to you. Business, real estate, people doing positive work in the community, these are my passions. Food, sports, those are passions of mine. Look at the screen. Thank you, Judah. There's a startup in Richmond that's being that's backed by a chef. A chef is the owner of this company. And this guy, Daniel Sterling, spent 15 years or so as a chef. And he wants to get out of the restaurant game. He's not sure of the future of the restaurant game with COVID. The restaurant game is a grueling game with grueling hours and underappreciation and not enough pay. Okay? A very competitive world. So this chef, keep it on screen for me. He's doing high-end vending machines. And these high-end vending machines, he is not selling candy. He is not selling soda. He is not selling chips. Instead, he's selling lunch bowls, rice bowls, salad bowls, snack bowls, wraps, breakfast sandwiches, healthy stuff ranging from $5 to $13. He makes the breakfast and lunch items in the morning himself. He stocks the vending machine, which are strategically positioned at high traffic areas. One of them's being positioned at a co-working facility, a co-working office space in Richmond. And he says that customers are going to the machines, they're paying $5 to $13 for breakfast or lunch, a bacon, egg, and cheese, a wrap, a salad, whatever it may be. It's coming out of the vending machine. The vending machine is refrigerated, and then it's dropped right there. It goes from vending machine to customer, and the on-the-shelf time, he says, in a lot of ways, is under 2 hours. So he stocks it, less than 2 hours there, it's in someone's belly. He does it each morning. It's an interesting idea. And why it's an interesting idea from a COVID standpoint is, think about it. You don't have the restaurant piece where you need guests to come and sit down in your restaurant or sit inside your restaurant. You do not need a staff. You don't need a front of the house or the back of the house staff. You're not paying rent, really. You may pay rent to leave your machine somewhere, but if I was running that business, how I would do it, I would do a revenue share. I would be like, if you allow me to put my vending machine that sells these menu items from $5 to $13, I'll give you 25% of what the machine makes. Maybe it's 20%. You negotiate, whatever you negotiate. But it's called a joint venture, a JV, a revenue share. I would say, don't charge me rent, take a piece of the back end. I mean, it's a novel concept. It's a novel concept for COVID. COVID is bringing about such creativity and such innovation. The people that are going to win and come out on the other side of this are the ones that are going to be willing to take risk, innovate, and lack of a better phrase, take chances here, okay? I mean, you see the market's down 3%. The ones that are taking risk are putting more in right now because they're buying for pennies on the dollar. We'll get to Crystal Napier on the program. Get the I Love CVille Instagram spotlight from Crobby's, Urban Vittles. Very unique name. Mill Creek Restaurant, Avon Extended. The Wings, Judah, Bonafide. Follow I Love CVille on Instagram. If you like entrepreneurship, real estate, news about Charlottesville, people that are moving and shaking, that's the best Instagram account for you. Dry, rubbed, smoked, and fried chicken wings from Crobby's. Crobby's? Is it Crobby's, do you think, Judah?
I think it's probably Crobby's.
Crobby's Urban Vittles? Is that how you would think it would be? Crobby's Urban Vittles?
That's it.
Good family restaurant right there. Follow I Love CVille on Instagram. The Wings guys, Bonafide. I mean, really good. Really good. If you're wanting your business spotlighted on this network, on this show, reach out to us. We'll talk with you. We'll get to comments after Crystal Napier. I need to get to Crystal. She's a rock star. Crystal, if you're watching, we're going to you here in a matter of moments. Judah, what do you think is the most dangerous road for you in Charlottesville? If you had a pick. Patty Zeller, welcome to the broadcast. I'm going to ask you that. You don't have to give me that answer right now, but I'm going to ask you what you think is the most dangerous road in Charlottesville, and you give me an answer. Because you do a lot of driving. You do a lot of driving. You're a man about town. I'm going to reach out to Crystal now, the businesswoman behind Renee's Boutique, one of the most connected people we know. She is doing the Crystal Napier Spotlight Wednesdays on the I Love CVille Show. Today we're going to spotlight Pearl Island. I first fell in love with Pearl Island. Ooh, new clothes in the back. I like it, and I love your earrings. Our pleasure, our pleasure. So, Crystal, I'm excited for today's spotlight. First, good afternoon. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing very well, thank you. I first fell in love with Pearl Island at the farmer's market. They have a line that is always deep. They turn it quickly. Their food is banging. It's priced fairly. So I got excited when you mentioned that we were going to be talking Pearl Island. This is Crystal Napier Spotlight presented by Renee's Boutique. Check out Renee's Boutique on Facebook and online. Just a fabulous, locally owned, woman-owned business. All right, Crystal, the show is yours, my friend. Pearl Island, talk to us.
Thank you. Thanks, Jerry. And thank you for the compliment on my earrings. I thought I would do a little Caribbean vibe since we're talking about. And you look nice by color for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
That made me
absolutely.
blush. Thank you
I
very
see
much.
you.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. I appreciate
It looks good. It looks good. So yeah, I'm allowed in foods. This was started by another and so Bear actually met when he had started his business at a minority business. Just started off with pickles, which is like a Caribbean coleslaw, and it's spicy. Very delicious. Then I kept in contact with Sobert, and he told me that he had connected with a chef, Javier. And so those two paired up, and I actually was working part-time at the Jefferson School City Center and out as the marketing director. And that is a awesome historical place in Charlottesville that I feel it's still underrated because a lot of folks don't know the rich history of the Jefferson School City Center and all of the awesome nonprofits and for-profit organizations that are housed inside of that place. So the significance of the Jefferson School City Center is that the opportunity came about. We were talking about having a cafe in the Jefferson School City Center space. And I said, I know the perfect restaurant to go into the space. And I think you all should reach out and have a conversation. So lo and behold, I was able to connect Sobert and they did whatever. And Pearl Island Foods is actually housed in the Jefferson School City Center, which is just phenomenal for that space as well as for Pearl Island. And I'm just excited to see them go from a food truck to now having the space at the Jefferson School City Center. And they do their full catering service as well. So they do a lot of work with the University of Virginia. And their food is absolutely amazing. Like you already know.
It is banging.
It really is. It really is. They're one of my favorite places to eat in Charlottesville. And they give you a Caribbean vibe, which is, the most beautiful place on earth, in my opinion, is to go to the Caribbean and, do the blue waters and the white sand. And you get that vibe once you go into their restaurant. So they were one of my favorite places, one of my cravings throughout my entire pregnancy. They probably got sick of seeing me there. But just delicious Caribbean food right here in Charlottesville. And I'm checking to make sure that I give you all the correct times and days that they're open. They are open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I have not had the pleasure, but I've heard wonderful things about their brunch that they serve on the weekends. So if you're looking for a place, check them out. They are phenomenal.
You're getting props already. So Scott Williams is watching. He's an entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur in the education space.
Hey,
and
Scott.
he says, I just had Pearl Island catering on Monday. Many plant-based options and delicious food. Remember to skip the Grubhub and go curbside pickup for those guys. That supports them even more. Their food is absolutely fantastic. So how is the brand doing? How's the business doing with COVID and everything that's going on now?
So I spoke to Sobert and he said COVID allowed him the opportunity to have an online presence. He had always wanted an online presence, but of course, COVID sped things up a little bit. And it actually has worked out because he can set it up where folks can order ahead of time, not just, walking into the space and ordering on the spot. So that actually helps him to plan out, how many folks he's going to need to bring in. It's actually, from what he told me, it's been a good time for their business, and a lot of support has came about throughout the challenges of COVID, which I'm really happy to hear that that things are going well for them. He did say that he is looking for committed folks that want a career and want to grow with them as a business. So if you're interested in working with some delicious food and some awesome bosses and employees at Pearl Island Foods, you guys should check him out if you are looking for work, because he is definitely in the market looking to hire some more folks.
Tell us about, and you've highlighted this already, the Jefferson School. You talked about the rich history. Highlight some of the stuff that you love about it.
So the Jefferson School City Center. One of the main things I love, of course, because I love history, is the Jefferson School African American Heritage Center. And the African American Heritage Center not just provides past history, but it also honors some of the wonderful artists, local artists that we have in the area, to provide us a not just history, but also culture and, explore different educational avenues. And Andrea Douglas is actually the director out there, and she is a brilliant mind and just full of so much knowledge, that I hope that folks, I think she started some limited hours now with COVID. You should really go to her website and check her out and do some tours, because she can also provide the entire history of that building and of Vinegar Hill, which is why the Jefferson School City Center is there, because of, the things that happened with Vinegar Hills several decades ago. So the Jefferson School City Center is kind of the last piece standing in that neighborhood, with a lot of historical content to it.
I love this.
So I don't want to spoil it. I just want to encourage you guys to venture down to 233 4th Street, Northwest, Charlottesville, Virginia. Check them out, Jefferson School City Center.
Pearl Island Foods, one of the leaders, influencers, certainly motivating and impacting the next generation. Angelique comes to mind when I'm rattling off those words right there. Yes. Restaurants and folks in that space, food and beverage space, that you see moving and shaking, and influencers in that space that you see having an impact, Crystal.
Besides Pearl Island? Okay. So Angelique, I think Angelique food is delicious as well. I also have had the pleasure of dining with Royalty Eats, which is also downtown. They have great food as well, and I believe they're building a coffee shop right across the street from their restaurant, which is phenomenal. It's very cool. There's several like small business owner catering. Yolanda Harrell. I cannot think of her name of her business. Is it A Taste of Southern Cuisine? She has some delicious food. So there's so many folks out here that are really talented with cooking, that I love, because I don't like to cook. And I thank God that I was able to marry a husband who does. So God looked out for me with that. But so I do. I love these people that are gifted in that area and can share, their delicious recipes with us. And as I said before, I'm so excited for Sobert and Pete and Javier, as well as Zakia. That's Sobert's wife. I know that they've put in a lot of hard work, and I'm just so excited to see their business grow and
It's
flourish.
banging, guys. You guys absolutely have to try this. And I would be remiss not to ask you this question, and this is the hardest question so far, Crystal. What is Shawn's best dish in the kitchen?
Oh, goodness.
Shawn is her husband. He's the man.
Yes. So I want to say my favorite dish from Shawn, he does a really delicious grilled pork chop. It's so good. And I don't even know the seasonings that he used, but it's so tender. And I say that because I'm not a big fan of pork chops. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of pork, but his pork chops, they're delicious. You might want to do that for dinner tonight, Shawn.
Because she knows Shawn is watching right now. That was hilarious.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this question. How do you feel? You're a connected lady, and you're a connected lady across a lot of different jurisdictions. So you know folks in Charlottesville, Albemarle, Nelson, Greene. You know people all over Central Virginia here, UVA, nonprofit world. You just know a lot of people here. How do you feel resources and aid and grants have been for small business community, woman-owned community, woman-owned businesses so far during COVID? I mean, do you feel there are resources out there? I mean, give us some insight.
Yeah, it has been a lot more resources that I have seen come about since COVID, which I'm very happy about. And I want to, I personally want to thank the city of Charlottesville because they were able to provide Renee's Boutique grant, which I'm grateful for. I wish that it wasn't just COVID though. Because I haven't seen these types of resources available specifically to minority and women-owned businesses before COVID. And that's a little disappointing because as, Sobert and I had a conversation and we were talking about how the resources to minority and women-owned businesses are so limited. And for us to still persevere and overcome and run our businesses, it's a struggle, but I think that's what makes us so incredible, so awesome. Because despite being dealt a bad hand, we're still finding ways to overcome and stay relevant in the marketplace.
Nice answer. Great answer. Well, you handled that well. What do you think the outcome's going to be? I mean, we started the show with this. I mean, you know this as well as anybody knows this. You know as well as any business person knows. 36 states in America, we're seeing a surge in COVID cases in this country. What do you think this outcome is going to be for a lot of businesses like ours, these small businesses, once we get on the other side of this, Crystal?
I'm not sure, but I would love your perspective because I think you've thought about this. So you tell me, Jerry, how do you think we're going to look coming out of this?
Well, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about the restaurants and the food and beverage. That's why I love that you spotlighted Pearl Island, because I think we need to celebrate and champion and support all our restaurants as much as possible. And Pearl Island, guys,
Absolutely.
Their food is banging and it's priced well, and they bust their tails making this food for us.
Yes.
So we need to get out there and show our support. I'm worried about restaurants. I hope this is not, I pray, but I'm on the other side. I'm worried about that group. I'm worried about tourism. I'm worried about hospitality. I think your pivoting and doing this virtual and online is brilliant. But a lot of your colleagues and counterparts in retail have not done that. And are still going brick and mortar and only brick and mortar. I'm nervous. I mean, I'm just nervous. I'm glad that the resources are out there. I agree with you. They should be more consistent. They should be more, maybe it's a wake-up call for the various jurisdictions and the local governments to be like, look, we got to do more than ever, and we need to be more pro-business friendly type of mindset, because maybe in the past, the economy was doing so well that it was just like we didn't have to have that as an asset that was being offered to us. I mean, what do you think? Do you think I'm off here?
No, you bring up some great points. I think Shawn and I were talking last week. You know, we went by. We had date night for the first time in a while. Yeah, and we actually went to the Afghan kebab place, the restaurant.
Okay.
And you know, it was only 3 families in the restaurant, and I was telling Shawn, maybe more restaurants will just have to go to being reservation only. And that way they would be able to control the amount of folks that they have in their restaurant. And as far as, you know, social distancing, to try to keep each other safe and also, you know, boost revenue, get folks walking through their door. I think we have to just change up our mentality because we're in a different time. And we have to, I mean, that's something that I have been doing is folks shop by appointment if they want an in-person appointment. And I think a lot of folks have told me, you know, there's still some advantages, Crystal, of just going into a store. And I said, yeah, you're absolutely right. But this is how I'm running my business. And I think that's the same way with restaurants. They might just have to tweak their typical way of running business in order to stay relevant and stay in the marketplace.
I think she's right. Crystal, you are awesome. Your spotlight is legit. Thank you so much for your time. I love the photos. I love the knowledge. I love the history. I love your perspective. Renee's Boutique, guys. It's Crystal Napier Spotlight presented by Renee's Boutique. Find them online and on Facebook. She is amazing. Shawn, pork chops. Season however you season them. But pork chops, Shawn. Pork chops. Crystal, you have a good one. It's great to see you.
You too, Jerry. Have a great week.
You too. Man, his pork chops sound good. Pearl Island is legit, too. That's one of the things the thing that I miss the most about the Saturday farmers market. Now, the new farmers market is essentially at Ix Park on Saturdays. You see a lot of the vendors that were at the city farmers market now at the Ix farmers market on Saturdays. It's almost all the vendors. But the things that I miss the most about the Saturday farmers market, along with seeing the friends and the energy and getting up and having something to do, was getting a cup of Shenandoah Joe's with my wife and my kid. My kid's probably in the stroller. And my wife and I pushing the stroller, probably me. We're drinking some iced coffee from Shenandoah Joe's, and we're walking up and down the aisles of the farmers market. And oftentimes we went to 3 or 4 places for food. One of them, Pearl Island. It is absolutely amazing. The food is amazing. Another one, Mama Bird. Mama Bird, her family and her food off the chain. The bagel ladies. The crab cake folks. Remember those crab cakes? The crab cake folks from the farmers market? I mean, absolutely bona fide. We took for granted. Do you not feel this way? Think about how much we took for granted before COVID. We took so much for granted. Just being able to get up, get in your car, if you have a 2.5-year-old kid and you're looking to get to nap time, because the day's broken up into 2 parts with the 2.5-year-old. Before nap and after nap as we get into bedtime. Okay? If you can make it to nap time, you get a break. And then after nap time, it's the denouement. It's all the falling action. Right? And after nap time, you're just trying to get to bath time at bedtime. And one of the things we loved to do on a Saturday was to get in our car, go to the farmer's market, have a couple of iced coffees, walk around an asphalt blacktop, and eat some good food while supporting some artisan vendors. And we had the gall and the nerve, and I lead the charge. We had the gall and the nerve to complain about the farmer's market before COVID because it was too hot and crowded on an asphalt parking lot blacktop. How much of us wish we were back on that asphalt blacktop parking lot off Water Street, drinking Dave's iced coffee from Shenandoah Joe's and eating a bowl of Caribbean cuisine from Pearl Island? All of us. This pandemic is if it's given us a lot of things. It's taken a lot of things from us. It's taken a lot of things from us. It's given us some stuff. And one of the things it has given us is perspective. Perspective. Markets are still reeling. The NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, all down 3% or more. The tech-heavy NASDAQ, which I'm very much invested in, 3.4%. S&P 500 down 3.17%. And that Dow down 3.18. The surge in corona cases across the country and the volatility within elections 6 days from now has markets reeling as we speak. A couple of items out of the notebook before we get to your comments, and I'm curious of your perspective. What is the most dangerous road in and around Charlottesville and Central Virginia? City of Charlottesville and Central Virginia, Route 53. 5th Street extended when you're going down from the city to the county and you're passing Old Lynchburg and Sunset, and people are trying to get on 5th Street from Sunset and Old Lynchburg, and they have to go across oncoming traffic to get to the other lanes. That's so freaking dangerous. What are the most dangerous roads in this area? Put your comments in the comment section. The CAA, the Colonial Athletic Conference, the conference that's home to William & Mary, JMU, and the University of Richmond, they have announced a spring football schedule. This schedule will start March 6. March 6. It is a 6-game spring football schedule. With Towson opting out of spring football, the CAA divided its schedule into a North Division with 7 teams and a South Division with 4 teams. The 4 teams in the South, JMU, University of Richmond, William & Mary, and Elon. You see what the CAA is doing? They're creating bubbles. They're trying to minimize travel. So in the South, you have William & Mary, U of R, and JMU. Williamsburg, Richmond, and Harrisonburg are all, 2 hours or less away in a car. You don't even have to get on a plane. 2 hours or less away on a bus. Elon a little bit further. The South, they have to play each other twice. Some schools, like the University of Richmond, are saying this 6-game schedule is going to be nothing more than spring football. U of R, straight up, its head football coach, the Spiders, said, this is spring football for us. We're going to play young players. We're going to get ready for the fall season in 2021. JMU said, we are not doing that. We're going to play balls to the wall. We're going to play our stars, and we're going to try to win the CAA championship in the spring because we know the NCAA is sponsoring a playoff after conference play, and JMU wants hardware. So the news from the CAA, the schedule, 6 games, starts March 6th. JMU, University of Richmond, William & Mary, and Elon, 4 teams in a South Division. The South Division will play each other twice. The North Division is made up of 7 teams. They've done that to minimize travel. U of R says, we're going to look at this 6-game schedule as nothing more than spring football. JMU has said, we want a championship. UNC, a 6.5-point favorite, 15 in the nation at UVA. Put it on screen, my friend Judah Wickower. Wahoos host the Tar Heels Saturday, 8 o'clock, ACC Network. Tar Heels, 6.5-point favorite, 15 in the country. UVA is about to go 1-5. UVA is about to go 1-5. They have Louisville on the schedule the following weekend. This football team, while it has talent, there is tremendous talent on this football team. It is a flawed football team. A flawed football team. Tar Heels are looking to stay in the hunt for an ACC championship. with Miami, Notre Dame, and Clemson. And folks, the Hokies, they're 3-2 overall. They're at Louisville on Saturday, 4 o'clock kick on the ACC network. Virginia Tech, 3-2 at Louisville. The Hokies are a 3.5-point favorite. Wisconsin has canceled its football game on Saturday against Nebraska due to COVID. This is getting real again. Okay? This is getting real again. When games like Wisconsin and Nebraska, number 9 Badgers against Nebraska, a big-time rival, are being canceled 72 hours before kickoff, this is getting real again. Ugh. Give Scott Wagner some love. Scott Wagner, chiropractic and sports medicine, Judah Wickhauer. Dr. Wagner is changing people's lives through physical therapy, chiropractic care, and sports medicine. Who's got your back? Dr. Wagner. Dr. Wagner. Dr. Wagner has your back. Comments are coming in. Judah, do you have a pick on the most dangerous road in the area?
Not really a most dangerous one.
Can we get, I know you're not a huge of getting on screen here. Can we go to the Judah Cam? And can we get your vote? Or you don't have to. I'm not trying to force you here. We don't have to do that. I mean, you know the roads here better than most. That's safe to say. What do you got? Judah Cam.
Let's see. I think, over near where you used to live was somewhere I slid right off the road.
What, 5th Street Extended?
It was, what is it, Sunset? Right off
Yeah.
of Extended?
You went off the road there?
Yeah, it was snowy. I was heading out. I think I had a Jeep at the time, and it just I don't even know what it was. I came over a little bit of that little rise when you're heading towards Extended, and I just started sliding.
That road needs a traffic light at Sunset or Old Lynchburg Road. I know people are opposed to traffic lights, but if we get people when they go from the city to the county over there at Wegmans, and they go then up to 55, 60 miles an hour, if they know a traffic light is at the Old Lynchburg or Sunset Avenue interchange, they would slow down. That road needs a traffic light. I mean, a lot of people disagree with traffic lights and hate traffic lights, but that road is dangerous, and people die. Someone just died on that road. Like a week, 2 weeks, look it up on the news. Someone literally just died on that road. That road needs either a traffic light, a roundabout, or a speed limit reduction. And I sound like an old man now. I didn't used to think about stuff like this until I had a child. Now I think about people and safety because I love my kids so much. Comments on the stream here. Crystal, the catering director at C&O, says Route 53 with an exclamation point. Andre Xavier has a really good one. The CEO of CVille Hop on Tours, Andre Xavier, he says the intersection of 29 and hydraulic. That intersection is super dangerous. That's why they have the cameras on the lights that are taking photos of people running the red light there. The intersection of Route 29 and hydraulic is dangerous as, you know what I'm talking about. People die at that intersection. Shawn Napier says Route 29 north of Walmart when all the apartment complexes are complete. Dude, Shawn is so right there. There's obscene density coming to Route 29. Obscene density. And when that density is finished, when that development is finished, that road is going to be even more of a cluster, you know what. And getting down that road around 6 o'clock, forget about it. Forget about it. Andy Wilfong, shout out to Vu Noodles, located next to Pearl Island for having the best vegan pho on the planet. Crystal knows a lot. This is why we have Crystal on the show. Crystal said Vu Noodles actually moved a little while ago, and it's on the downtown mall. She is exactly right. Vu Noodles is now located on Water Street. What used to be there? Oh, the Creperie. Vu Noodles is on Water Street, located next to the Creperie. That place is legit. I don't like pho that much, and I have no knock on pho. It's very flavorful, okay? But Vu Noodles, that place is legit. That place is legit. Remember Motofoco? Motofoco. Is it Motofoco? Is it fo or fa, Judah?
I think it's fa.
So it's Motofoco.
I guess.
Motofoco. Remember that place? The guy who owned Zinc. Zinc is what is now, not Oakard Social, Little Star. Zinc is what is now Little Star on West Main. The guy who used to own Zinc opened up Motofoco across the street. Motofoco was the restaurant after One Meatball Place. One Meatball Place was the first restaurant in what is now Public Fish and Oyster. Before it was Daniel Kaufman and Public Fish and Oyster, it used to be Motofoco, and before that, One Meatball Place, and One Meatball Place was very similar to the meatball shop in New York City. Motofoco had decent pho, whatever you're calling it. Vu Noodles has very good pho. I mean, she's got it going on. And she's one with chutzpah and hustle to her. Judah, most dangerous road in Charlottesville. 53 on some of those turns seems to be getting most of the votes. 53 is a scary road. Going down Ivy Road to Crozet when the sun is setting is a scary, scary road as well. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the show. I think we have Elizabeth Cromwell, the CEO and president of the Charlottesville Regional Chamber of Commerce, on the show tomorrow. She's amazing. She and Crystal, two just vibrant, dynamic, just like phenomenal on camera human beings. Elizabeth Cromwell tomorrow from the Charlottesville Regional Chamber of Commerce. That's going to be a good interview. Thank you for joining us on the show. This is all about local content to you from a cautious optimist perspective. That's all I'm trying to do. Cautious optimist, reads a lot, talks to a lot of people, takes that information, passes it to you, gets you more empowered, and you understand more what's going on in the community. That's the premise of the show. Feature the best of Charlottesville, Virginia, and the area around it. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you for joining us. One Meatball Place had a good foundation. Did you ever eat there?
Yeah, once or twice.
That foundation was legit.
That was not bad. I didn't like their choice of bread, though.
You did not like their choice of bread?
Yeah.